Here we have a wheel assembly, and I am going to run model check interactive on it. And let's choose all levels. And we see that this is quite a mess. And when I expand the errors, I find that there are two generic components that are assembled in here, the lug and the rim. Let's take a look at the lug first. I'm going to open up the lug. Oops, let's close that. Let's open up the lug in its own separate window. And we see that there are three instances in addition to the generic. I'm going to open up the generic and then take a look at the family table. And I see that the generic has a value of 0.5. And of the three instances, the one that corresponds to half has the same value as the generic. So that's the one that should be placed in the assembly. So let's go back to the assembly, and I'm going to select the lug and right click on it and choose replace by family table instance. I'll click the open button and let's select that half instance and then OK and OK. And so now we no longer have a generic assembled for that component. The other component that is a generic is the rim part. If I open that up in its own separate window, it's got two instances. And when we take a look at the family table, we see that the generic has two holes in there, but neither of the two instances matches up with the generic. So we can create a new instance, and I'll call this rim 0. And we can leave the asterisk if we want it to have the same values as the generic. Then we will verify the table. And they are all a success. Let's close out of here and then click OK and go back to the wheel assembly. And like before, right click on it and choose replace. By family table, click the open button and select the new instance that I created. Click the OK button. And we no longer have the generic assembled in there. If we go to File, Prepare, Model Check Interactive, All Levels, and then expand the errors, we no longer have that error for the generic component being assembled in here. Let's take a look at the problems of using the fixed constraint in conjunction with regular constraints. I have an assembly open. It's just a plate with a pattern of holes on it. So let's click the Assemble button, and I'm going to grab a bolt, and let's use the cylindrical surfaces and select that cylindrical surface and select this flat surface, and I'm going to query select to the bottom surface. And so there we have two constraints. If I go to the placement tab, right now it's got allow assumptions turned on, but I'm going to turn that off, and instead I'm going to add a new constraint for a fixed constraint, which locks it in space, and now we are fully constrained. I'll hit the check mark. Everything is fine, but then I decide, hey, you know what? Let's change the thickness of this plate here. Let me edit its thickness. Right now it's a thickness of 5, and let's change it to a value big enough for you to see. Let's use a value of 20 and regenerate. And now you see that the bolt interface is failing. It's actually embedded in the middle of the part there. And the reason that it is failing is because of that fixed constraint. That fixed constraint is locking it in space relative to the default coordinate system, but that second coincident constraint wants to make the flat surface on the bolt coincident with this flat surface in the part. If I edit definition and get rid of that fixed constraint, we no longer have a failure. We can turn on allow assumptions and we're fully constrained and hit the check mark. So just be aware that when you use that fixed constraint in conjunction with regular constraints, any changes to the geometry that the component is assembled to will result in a regeneration failure for the component. Another bad habit is excessive assembly level features. For example, one thing that I'll see people do is that they have the need to create a hole between these two parts over here. So they say, hey, let's go ahead and create our hole. And we're going to drill it through this surface over here. Let's change that diameter down. And let's dimension from a couple of the different surfaces. I might accidentally be grabbing edges, but for the sake of this demo, that's what I'll just grab. And let's do through all. And so there we have our mounting hole between the two components. But in the real world, this really should be created at the component level. People use the assembly level features just to make sure that they have it in the right location between both components. But now you're creating a dependency between these components and the assembly itself. If you have a situation where it truly is a match drill hole, you should go to the intersection tab. Make sure that automatic update is turned off. I'll choose add intersected models. And these are the two models that should be intersected. I have a config.pro option that turns off automatic update. The default option has it turned on. So if you are going to use assembly level features, make sure that you turn off that automatic update to reduce the number of components that are going to be affected by this feature. But again, I really should not be creating this as an assembly level feature at this level. It really should be part level features. So I'm going to cancel out of there. Another situation involves using parts that are going to go through additional machining operations. So for example, here I have this part over here. Let's say that it's molded or cast, and now we're going to do some other machining to it. What I will see people do is create a new assembly, and then they will assemble that part. Let me grab it. And let's use the default constraint. And then here at the assembly level, to represent the different machining operations, now they'll create additional extrudes or holes in the model. That is not the way that it should be done. If you want to represent that, you're better off using merge and inheritance features. For example, I can create my new part. Let's call it, it'll be the demo machined, and click OK. And then I can go to Get Data, Merge Inheritance, and hit the Open button. And let's grab that demo part. And let's locate it using the default constraint. And then by using this button, I can make it a merge or inheritance feature. So for example, if there is a hole that was going to have a different value when it is cast, and then you're going to machine it out over here, you could change those different values. But I will hit the check mark, and now we have our machined part. Here we have our inheritance feature, and then you could create additional cuts or holes or chamfers or whatever other features that you need here in the part, rather than doing it as an assembly level feature. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more information, please visit www.creowindshield.com. If you learned something from this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like this video, please click the subscribe button to be informed when new videos are uploaded. Thank you very much.